Hey everybody, I'm thinking about doing a new series and let me know whether you see this on YouTube or you hear it on the podcast. Thinking about doing a series on house husbands. Thinking about doing a series on house husbands because that name is supposed to be derogatory. And sometimes when you have a spouse who is successful, smart, intelligent, or just has a great job or a job in training, people seem to think that you can just sit on your butt, or you would just sit on your butt and let someone else make money. And what's funny is I've had even friends who've known me for 30 years in the past. And some of the reasons we don't talk as much is they think that once your spouse makes, six, whatever, seven figures, whatever it is, that you will just sit back, kick back. And that might be because that's what they would do. But what I find is those people are always single. Those people are always terrible at relationships. They're lonely, they're miserable, they're ugly inside and out, no matter how well they try to dress it up. And they can, you know, get the baggage off themselves by trying to say, hey, well, you don't have to worry about that because your spouse. First of all, what man, so-called alphas bring up somebody's spouse, especially when you don't know what their income is? Now, I've been in business for a while. People who've known me sometimes from middle school say, man, you've been, hustling and making money since I knew you then. But people still won't give you your credit, nor do you need your credit, But this is why so many single women are, who have good jobs are single because there's men out there, and they're not men, they're boys, who want to worry about a paycheck and, oh, she might make more than me. She might make more than me. Oh, whoa. And you know what? In my mind, I remember it was over a decade ago, being in Springfield, Massachusetts, talking to some real wise guys. And I said, I want to go get another degree. And I've been to grad school. So there's, more than one doctor in the house, right? And this OG told me, he said, she could be the only doctor in my house. I'm not tripping. And he had really been through the real life business owner, but he had gone through the ups and downs that sometimes people in life, it's later in life, folks get it, right? But if you are talking about somebody online, especially, or you're in a conversation and you're insinuating because someone's spouse makes a good amount of money that they don't work or they don't have to work. And I do know people like that. I know people who they put in their time. They're older than me usually, and they're like, you know what? I got my boat. I got my second house. She makes, over 200,000, 400,000, a million, whatever. I'm going to kick back. I'm going to enjoy life. And when a lot of people want to live like that, it's only the single people, and I'm putting it on the males who, oh no, she couldn't make more than me, and worried about the stuff of a brother washing dishes, a brother making food for his children, where there's men who would love to have children, but because they are so miserable inside and out and just need to like jump in a lake, right? They find that to be, they're so jealous that they would go and talk about it to other men. And these are supposed to be alphas. And I don't even like that term alpha. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me get a sip. I don't like that term alpha because a lot of folks who are claiming to be alpha couldn't get in the ring, couldn't get in the octagon with somebody who was fully trained. We've taken alphas to the gym and seeing how they tap out or get knocked out. We see alphas go to the gun range and they don't even know how to put the clip in, and every movie can show you that, right? They don't know how to load the AK-47 or, anything, but these are alpha men. They don't know how to fish, but they're alpha men. They don't know how to change a tire, but they're supposedly alpha men. Come on, man. Who talks about people and talks about people about what their spouse is making. I don't even know, only women who do that. And so I find it funny. So I'm thinking about doing a series on that. And please let me know if you want to be part of that series if we push through. Because I know some guys, and a lot of folks don't want people in their business, but there are probably a couple I know. And if I don't do a series on that, I have this book that I had started to talk about how to survive your spouse not being there, not being home, taking care of the home. Because when I got in my situation, I love my situation, because I told my wife when we got married, I said, I don't need you to take care of kids. I just need you to pop them out. Go live your dream, do what you do. I'm going to be working from home or wherever we're at, wherever we roam, and it's all good. And I love it. I love it. Like I chose the steps in life to say I want to be married before I have children. Boom. I chose the steps on who I married. So I know if I don't want someone always under me, get somebody who has a dream, have passion. A lot of guys pick somebody who, looks good. And you can find a beautiful idiot and she can't talk. And then you wonder why, you can't get a stimulating conversation. You wonder why you roam alone and nobody wants to be around misery. And I find it funny, people who want to be like life coaches and their life isn't ideal. They say, I want to be married. I want to have kids. You're single, but you're going to be a life coach. Who are you coaching? How much money have you made? Are you coaching people in finance maybe? Because, folks like Elon Musk, I mean, he's had his marital issues, but he can tell you how to do some business. Sometimes you can't get it all right. Even someone like Trump, I mean, he's had more baby mamas than, Pookie on the block, but he can tell you at least how to start a business, how to get funding from the bank. And if you've ever read his books, you already know what I am talking about. But yeah, house husbands, because I was told I couldn't take that title because I'm a work from home dad. But I love taking my kids to school. Well, when school was in session, right? I love taking them in. I love getting them out because I don't trust the school system. And they go to a great school, all type of diversity, all type of, principal. Everybody is good. But I like picking them up because I don't trust, the bus. And that's why I have them knowing how to choke somebody out. They know how to do a flying triangle. We're working on perfecting it, but it's like, I don't get it. And you have a lot of people on these, platforms say things that they would never say in person. People who kissed your feet when they needed something, what type of punk is that would kiss your feet? You know what I mean? And oh man, you helped me and thank you. And they call you every day and then be like, oh man, that guy is a house husband. You think that bothers me? No, man, we make money. We make money, and I don't get on here enough to vent because I have a life. I got businesses I'm running. And people say, "Oh, Kellen, stun them real quick and show them this and show them that and tell them, where you're going next." It's no need. People, I see them watching the Instagram. I got software where you can see people from afar. You can see people watching the videos. I know who's watching, and they know who's watching, and they know what it could be, but I find it all jokes. It's all giggles until you want to take, it to a different level, which most people I have found don't. Most people will say anything. It's like bill collectors over the phone. They talk tough. I would love the Dave Chappelle skit because it's like the Keeping It Real Gone Wrong, where the bill collector is talking crazy, and you got to see that person, in the club, in the street. That's just me. That's coming from the number one house husband, FIM. Ask about me. And so I'm thinking about doing a series on that. So again, you want to be a part of it, you drop a comment, send an email. All that information is in the about section or in the description box. if you need, help trying to find your identity, because you're like, man, I've been battling with this. I do have a counseling background as well. And the resume proves that. You see that on LinkedIn, from the psych hospitals to the group homes to the drug rehabs. Don't let the love locks fool ya. This is, real education, and it didn't take 10 years to get there. It took the amount of time that it should, because we never failed a class, never failed a test. Some of y'all are trying to get things that you're not meant for, that is maybe not your purpose, and you keep failing over and over. You keep failing in life, and you should just keep your mouth shut and push forward. You do too much talk. But, that's how it is. But that's from your number one house husband. But I do have a book kind of based on that, working on when the time is right, from med school to residency, to just help people, because men's identities, men's egos can be fragile if you don't know who you are. I know that I've been traveling. I look at, my passport and I say, man, I've been to a lot of places, touched and have a lot of friends, a lot of places that will do a lot of things for me. And that's a blessing when someone says, hey, you helped build up my business or my career, and you helped me. In the same way I help them, they help me, even if it's just a spiritual thing. And some people you don't even talk to, and you're like, you help these people out, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's like, you don't want any negative energy when you're living in your purpose. They call it the flow. And I say constantly, in the flow. And Google that, flow in business, what that means. But they're just really in the zone. And, I read about a book a week, whether it's a physical book, whether it's an audio book, and I'm just learning and seeing how my voice has to be out there. I don't have to have the biggest following, and I don't even need to be known, because I'm the young Al Heyman, because Uncle Al won't speak, let me speak, But when you're in your purpose, in your flow, and you're consulting, and people are calling you, and you got, paid bookings, and you don't have to beg anybody for anything, and you're just thankful and saying, thank God, I'm not where I used to be, because, that's I used to want to handle conflict a whole different way. Now I take it the way where I always think about the Jay-Z line where he says, we can't hear your corny raps. We in the air, and that person's no longer with us. But, we sitting in the islands, man. We don't know whatever you're talking about. People tell me things. I don't check the streets anymore. I got lieutenants and captains, and, I don't have to go to every meeting anymore. I got people to do that. I can sit back and enjoy my familia, So it's just crazy how life, if you just stay in your flow, stay in your purpose, and don't let anybody throw you off, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. That world, that globe is there for you to sit on top. And what can you do? But, you are whatever they say you are, that Eminem song, take it back. So that's my little, feedback. This was just a venting time to talk about a series I'm thinking about doing. And again, if you want to be a part of it, send me something, because it might just be sporadic. I'm too busy influencing the influencers and working inside my purpose. But to always think, but I want to do more stuff, because I'm seeing some folks didn't have a daddy, or their daddy was on drugs, or, the daddy was running the streets and didn't give them a hug, and they didn't get to put any good game in them, and sometimes just life happens, and Pop just couldn't be there for whatever reason, whatever reason. And sometimes people didn't have mamas who loved them, and they were on drugs. I'm from the 84, 85 era. We were almost off the porch at that time. So, that's, I've lived enough life, and I'm old enough to remember when kids could walk to the corner store, no problem. It would be no problem. You could go get Tampas and different things on credit. So, and if you know, And if you don't, and if I ever say a word, you're like, what's that word? Hey, you book some time. The game is to be sold and definitely not told in